We all know that if you take a ball of clay and you flatten it, it's now lower. Let's flatten it again. It's lower. So say we take this note, this B, and we flatten it, it's lower. So that's how you're going to remember it. Remember, when you flat a note, it makes it lower. So here's a B, and I'm going to flat it. So that's now the B flat. Here's the D, and I'm going to make it lower. That's the flat. Here is the G. I'm going to make it lower. That's G flat. Let's start with a review of up, down, and same. Listen to the notes I play, and you have to decide if they went up, down, or stayed the same. I'll play 5 notes in a row. Which way did they go? They went down. Let's do another set of notes. Which way did they go? They went down. Let's do another 5 notes. Which way did they go? They went up. Listen to these 5 notes. Which way did they go? They stayed the same. How about these notes? Which way did they go? They went down. Now I'm going to do pairs of notes. You're going to hear 2 notes, but you give 1 word for an answer. Up, down, or same. Which way? Down. Which way? They went up. Which way? They went up. Which way did they go? They stayed the same. Which way did they go? They went down. Now I'm going to do notes that are closer together. Which way did they go? They went up. Which way did they go? They went down. Which way did they go? They went down. Which way did they go? They stayed the same. Which way did they go? They went up. So now we established that if the notes go to the left, they are going downward. If the notes are going to the right on the piano, they go upward. So you can see them and hear them going upward. So if you have a keyboard at home, try that. Go to notes to the left, and they're going downward. Notes to the right go upward. So I'll ask you the questions now. In which direction do you go to go upward on the keyboard? You go to the right. In which direction do you go to go downward on the keyboard? You go left. So now that's established, we're going to talk about sharps and flats. So let's start with the note B. If we go to the next black key to the left, that's a B flat, because we're going down a half step. So when you flat a note, you're going to go a half step lower, or a minor second lower. It's the smallest interval. Here's a G. Which direction do we go to flat it? We go to the left. So the G flat is lower than the G. Here's a D. Where is the D flat? The D flat is to the left. So in most cases, you have the letter names, which are the naturals, and the white keys, and your flats and sharps are the black keys. But there are exceptions. The two exceptions are if you have F, and there's no black key between them. So an F flat is an E. And then you have C, and you have C flat, which is a B. So they are the exceptions. Any other case, the black keys are going to be the flats. So you have E. Do you go higher or lower to flat a note? You go lower. And there is your E flat. That's a B flat. That's a G flat. That's an A flat. Let's talk about sharps. So we learned that if you go to the right, the note gets higher. So here's a C. To make it sharp, we go to the next black key to the right, and that's a C sharp. Here is a D. We're going to go to the right to sharp it. And here is an E. Which way do we go to sharp the E? We go to the right to sharp the E. It's a half step. But in this case, since there's no black key in between it, the F is actually the E sharp. In which direction do notes go on the keyboard in order for them to go downward? They go to the left. Watch this. You went to the left, it's lower. Going to the left, it's even lower. As you go to the left, it gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. I went all the way to the left on this. Now we're going to talk about flats. So you've learned before that a flat is when you lower a note, which means you go to the left. So let's start with the G right here. If we go a half step lower, a minor step lower, we're making this a G flat. So this key is G flat. All right, and let's do another one. Here is a B. Where is the B flat? Is it to the left or to the right? B flat is to the left. So what you're noticing is these white keys are the naturals and the black keys are flats and sharps for the most part. Let's have a D. So here's a D, and we go to the left. What do we have? This note is D flat. So if this note is G, what note is this? This is G flat. So what do you do if you have F and there's no black key between F and E? To flat the F, you're going to go to the left to the next key, which is E. So E is actually the same as F flat, which is an enharmonic. We'll talk about enharmonics in a few minutes. So what about C? What letter would be C flat? Because there's no black key between it, the B is C flat. So C flat and B are enharmonic. So you press the B key, but in any other case, it's the black key to the left. Let's go to sharps now. So we have G. So in which direction do we have to go to sharp a note? Since we have to go higher to sharp a note, we're going to go to the right. So this is a G, G sharp. You hear that? Here's G, and then the G sharp is a half step higher. Let's do another one. F. What note is a half step higher than F? F sharp. So your F sharp is to the right of the F. Let's do another one. This is D. You go to the right, one black key. What letter is that? D sharp. There's E. Where do we go to make it sharper, to make it sharp? You go to the right, so you actually go to the F. Remember I said, because if there's no black key between it, you just go to the next white key. So here is B, and we're going to go to the right to sharp it, so it'll be a C. So now let's talk about some enharmonics. So we know this is a B. So if this is B, what's that to the left of it? B flat. This is A. What is to the right of the A? A sharp. Did you notice they're the same key? That's because B flat and A sharp are enharmonics. And I'm going to ask that question later. What do you call it when the same key has different names and it's enharmonic, or the same pitch? So let's go here. We have F. What is this note to the right of the F? Since when you go higher, you sharp it, this is F sharp. This is a G. What is to the left of the G? G flat is to the left of the G. So now we know F sharp and G flat are the same note. They're the same pitch. They're the same key on the piano. They're the same key on any instrument that you play. So let's, and here's a question for you. What do you call it when you can have two different names for the same pitch, like A sharp and B flat, like C flat and B? What is that called? They're called enharmonics. So next thing, we're going to talk about naturals. So you learn that if you go a half step higher from the note, it's a sharp. The note itself is the natural. So when you see a natural sign in music and it cancels out that flat or sharp, you go to the regular note itself. In the tone chimes, the white keys are the silver chimes. In the tone chimes, the black keys are the flats and sharps. And with the exception of the rare case where you have an F flat or an E sharp. So once again, in what direction do we go on the piano to make a note lower? We go to the left. We go left, go left, we go left. In what direction do we go to make notes higher? We go to the right. We went to the right, it's higher. It's higher. See, as we go to the right, it gets higher and higher. And what do you call it when you take a note and you go a half step lower, like a B? It's called a flat. So this is B flat. What do you call it if you take a note and you go a half step higher? It's called a sharp. And you go to the next key. Now remember, when we do C sharp, like this is C sharp, you're not going to go C sharp. You're just going to press one key. The one key is C sharp. And as we learned with the clay earlier, when you flat a note, this is how you remember flat or sharp. If you can remember that flattening the clay makes it lower, then you're going to remember that the sharp goes higher. And what interval lower do we go to make a flat? We go down a half step, or a minor second. Now you'll get to see the tone chime that corresponds with each note of the piano. Please note, the tone chimes are lined up in chromatic order, but they're wider than the piano keys, so I couldn't actually put them in front of the respective key. So let's start with, we have an F here, and there's your F tone chime. You can see the picture of the F on it. I'll try to get in some light for you. And where it falls on the staff, which is the bottom space. So if you go, here's the F. What if you go to the right a half step? What do you have? That is F sharp. And here is the F sharp tone chime. I'll try to get some light and some focus on it. Notice it has F sharp and G flat on the same tone chime. See on the bottom, that has two notes, F sharp and G flat. It's showing both of them. If you see a G flat on your paper, you play this tone chime. If you see an F sharp, you also play this tone chime. So what is it called when the same note, the same pitch, has two different names? It's called enharmonics. So if you're assigned F sharp on the tone chimes, make sure that you are not playing the G's, because you might see, well, there's a G flat on there too. That's only if you see a G flat written on the page. So let's do this. We have this note. That's an A. If we go a half step lower than an A, what do we get? We get A flat. So we have a G. What note is a half step to the right of the G? G sharp. Once again, it's the same bell, the same chime. Let me get this in the light. See how G sharp, A flat are the same bell? What's that called again? They are enharmonics. Let me try to get some focus on it. And you'll see over here the picture of their placement on the staff too. So if you get a G sharp for a bell and you see a picture of the A there, make sure you're not ringing the A's, because that is A.